UPS sponsored athlete Aaron Curtis here. In this series, we're going to go over my off-season training and nutrition, aimed at building as much lean body mass as possible whilst keeping body fat gain to a minimum. With my training, we'll be going over my body part split, exercise selection, rep range, and how I'm going to periodize my training over the course of my off-season. With my nutrition, we'll be going over my meals and all my supplementation. At the moment, I'm training 5 days a week. On Mondays, I will train shoulders and triceps. On Tuesdays, I will train back and rear delts, but only horizontal pulling movements for back. Wednesday, I take off. Thursday, I will train chest and biceps. Friday is quads and hamstrings. And Saturday is back again, but all the vertical pulling movements and calves. On one of my off days throughout the week, or if I get a break at work on one of the days I've trained already, I'll chuck some abs in there and some rotator cuff stuff. I see my back as a weak point, so I've set aside a 2-year period to train back twice a week, so I can see whether I think training things more frequently led to any improvement. At the moment, I'm doing 3 work sets per exercise. My favoured way to train is just doing 1 set per exercise, followed by forced reps, negatives, rest pause, drop sets. But at the moment, I'm doing a lot more volume than what I'm used to, just for something different. All my lifts are performed with a very slow, controlled movement. I'll tend to be a little bit slower on the negative than I am on the positive. That's just to minimise momentum and force the working muscle to do all the work. All my work sets have taken a failure. If I'm not hitting failure on a set, it's because it's a warm-up. Generally, I'll do 1 warm-up set per exercise, unless it's the first exercise for that body part, where I'll do multiple warm-ups, and the number of warm-ups will depend on what my working set is at. So for example, if I'm doing my working set of squats on 60 kilograms, I'm only going to need a couple warm-up sets to get to my working weight. If I was doing my working set on 160 kilograms, I'm going to need a lot more warm-up sets to get from my first warm-up to my last warm-up before I hit my working weight. Before a work set, I'll try and get angry, not about anything in particular, but just I need to be aggressive towards the weight that I'm trying to lift. I tend to make a bit of noise when I lift, not deliberately, but when I'm exerting myself, I'll tend to end up exhaling heavily or grunting a bit. And I think that's just because I'm trying to be aggressive when I'm training. I track my training, I track my sets, my reps, the weights I'm using, and I focus on progressively overloading through increasing the loads or increasing the time under tension for a given load. So if last week I did 8 reps on 60 kilos on any given exercise, the week after I'm looking to do more than 8 reps on that same exercise and same weight. If I've hit the top of my desired rep range for any given exercise, then I'll increase the load, and that's how I will progress the next week. I train to get stronger every week, but within a range suited to building muscle, so focused on hypertrophy. So generally my rep range will be somewhere between 6 to 15 reps, or trying to get that time under tension from 40 to 70 seconds. If I've had a good session and I've progressed with reps or weights more so than the week before, I'll hold a good pump and I'll feel quite fatigued through the working muscles, but I don't train for that feeling as such. I train more to progress with reps and weight and progressively overload. After a good session, again, if I've progressively overloaded and pushed more weight or done more reps than previously, I'll feel fatigued. And generally speaking, when I am progressing week to week, I'll tend to cramp in the muscles that I've worked later that night. I will feel fatigued during a session, but you know, after legs, it probably takes me a while to freshen up. But after most other body parts, I'm pretty good after my post-workout meal.